What's up, everybody? Welcome to yet another Press X Let's Play. I am Kevin McManus, and today we are taking a look at PT, my game of the year from 2014, and the final piece of the trilogy from my spooky, scary Let's Plays for the Halloween occasion. So, PT has a lot of drama surrounding it, and it ended up being this kind of phenomenon that I don't think we're ever going to have in gaming again, and it's so unfortunate what's happened to this now canceled game. But we're going to talk about the story and kind of go through the game. I know the ins and outs of this game. I know it pretty well. So this is kind of going to be a just kind of a walkthrough with a bit of commentary for you guys. So let's hop right in. The brightness is fine. I'm okay with the brightness, and we'll put on subtitles just because it is a little difficult to hear sometimes. So that is a made-up studio. That studio is one that they made up specifically for this demo to fool you into thinking that it was an indie game. This game was stealth released. They just announced it and then released it with little to no explanation, and that's part of the reason it's so scary. There's no context. I was talking about my Silent Hill in my Silent Hill 3 Let's Play, how they give you all this power at the beginning, and then they take it all away. And that's very similar to this, because that makes you feel helpless. But in this, they just don't give you any context. They don't tell you what's going on. They don't tell you the controls. They don't tell you what you are capable of and aren't capable of. And that is another way to induce fear. It's that fear of uncertainty, of not knowing. So let's move onward. There may be a little bit of an echo. I don't think there will be. I have the volume turned down very low. But you do actually need sound to be able to beat this game. So I do have the sound on a little bit. So if there's a little audio echo here and there, I'm super sorry. That's what that is. So basically, this game is PT, and it stands for Playable Teaser. It is it was a teaser for the Silent Hill game entitled Silent Hills, created by Kojima and Del Toro, and it was going to be published by Konami, who owns the IP to Silent Hill. And the whole premise of this game is a hallway. I just went through the back of the hallway, and I came back out the front, and that's the whole idea. The whole thing takes place in this one concealed location, and what they were able to do with that is incredible. So this was going to be, I'll talk about why the game got canceled first. We'll do bad news first. So the game got canceled. We don't know. Basically, it's still up for debate. But the Kojima creates sorry, I'm distracted. Kojima creates big budget games with big name actors, and big voice talents, things like that, and they're probably very, very, very expensive. And I feel like Konami, who would publish the game, just felt like it was too much money, too much effort, too much time for the games to come out. They had them hack off part of Metal Gear Solid 5 and sell it separately a year early, just to get the cash flow going. So clearly they're a business, and they're concerned about money, and Kojima is an artist, and he's concerned about a polished product. So I feel like they just didn't see eye to eye on that level, and that's why this game is no more. And with names like Del Toro, who was going to be in this, or not in this, but working on this, and Norman Reedus, who was the main character, as you'll see at the end of this, it was going to be big budget for sure. AAA budget game. So people were really excited about this because it's a return to form for Silent Hill. Silent Hill hasn't been developed by a Japanese developer since Silent Hill 4. 1, 2, and 3 people typically love. 4 is kind of a love it or hate it. And then after that, they were given to Western developers and just different developers. And a lot of people don't particularly like them. So real quick here, the only button that you can find that does anything is R3 zooms in. So we're going to use that because it's the only button we have. And Lisa's going to say hello. So they gave them to Japanese developers for the first couple games, and then they spread out, and those other games just aren't very good. They lose that sense of atmosphere that the Silent Hill games are known for, and this game has atmosphere. If you can tell, it's an incredible atmosphere. So people were really excited to have that that return to form for return to a Japanese developer. So this is Lisa. She's going to be haunting us for the rest of our journey through this hallway. And I'm going to try to point out little references and little things that you can have happen. There's a lot of nuances to this game that are awesome. There's so many things you can miss, and so many things that just don't happen on some playthroughs, and then it'll happen on another one. Lisa can do a whole bunch of things to you. She can possess you. She can just pop up and kill you. She'll run at you. She'll haunt you. She does a whole bunch of things, and it's never telegraphed what's going to happen. So that's part of the reason this game's so scary. They set up all of these jump scare moments, and then they don't put jump scares there, which makes you feel uneasy because you were expecting it. And here's the fetus. And you were expecting it, and then you don't get that satisfaction of the actual jump scare, and then where the jump scares are not at all where you would expect them. So here is just this. It's so terrifying. So there you see a peephole. That'll be kind of an important clue for later on in the demo, or the playable teaser as they call it. Try to bust out of here. Look at the door. So this game is all about puzzles. Obviously that was kind of a simple one, but a lot of the puzzles have to do with the fact that you don't really know what's going on in this at all, and you need to figure out how to open the door. That's basically your mission, is how to get a little bit further. But hold on. Okay, so you see that shadow shaking behind me? That means Lisa's behind me. So Lisa is currently stalking me. So I'm just going to go ahead and head through to the next room. Sorry, this game's atmosphere and everything is so scary, so I'm umming a lot, and I'm trying to gather my thoughts. There's her shadow. She's still there. But yeah, it's very puzzle-centric, and Kojima, who is going to work on this game, is a fucking master of the puzzle. Oh, shit! Fuck me. He's a master of the puzzle. Lisa's a bitch. He's the master of puzzles, psychological puzzles, too, which he likes messing with the player. He'll do things like have you interact with your controller ports, switching controllers in the middle of a fight, or reading your memory card and announcing games that you've played before, just really breaking that barrier between the gamer and the game. And this seemed like it was going to do that, and I have kind of a theory about how it was going to do that, and it's actually in this room. So we can just keep going. You would think that we died. We actually have the flashlight and everything, so we did not die. That's supposed to happen. But if we head over here and we look at this,
I walked. I could do nothing but walk. And then I saw me walking in front of myself.
So I feel like this was a huge clue as to what the game was going to be about.
Watch out. The gap in the door. It's a separate reality. The only me is me. Are you sure the only you?
So he says, I walked, then I saw myself walking, but it wasn't really me, or something along those lines. And to me, that says that the game was going to be in third person, and it was almost like possession. The game's in third person, and you're walking, but you could see yourself walking. That's the description of playing a game in third person. And then he says, but it's not really me, or something along those lines, and that's also the description of a third person game. So I feel like he was playing with the idea of the camera in the game. So continuing with the puzzle theme, there is a broken picture of Lisa here. So I'm going to go ahead and collect the pieces. They're hidden all over. And you can see when you collect pieces, it's actually written in a different language. Is Lisa behind me again? Jeez. It's actually written in a different... Lisa might grab me. A different language. Jeez. So you need to work together online or know a bunch of languages to be able to solve all this, and I feel like that's how they intended the game to be that way. I remember when the puzzle was finally solved, he said he was surprised how quickly it was solved. So here we zoom in and hit the X button, which is the only time we ever really use it, and that opens this locked door, and we can keep on going. But there is a piece here that we'll grab. And if we go ahead and hit the pause menu here, we can zoom in and grab the last piece, which is hidden in the pause menu because they're real jerks. And that's all the pieces of the picture. I still don't really know what the picture does. Some people say it wards off Lisa. I haven't found that to be true. But we do have the picture complete now. So I'm just going to go ahead and... Okay. So here's what I consider the scariest thing in the whole freaking game. Just Lisa menacingly staring at you, smiling after throwing that down. Most people run for their lives after that happens, but if you do take the time to look up and then this appears, forgive me, Lisa, there's a monster inside of me. Lisa, very popular name in the Silent Hill games, usually the name of the nurse. So it is appropriate that that's the name that they went with. And you're going to see by the end of this, there's puzzles in here that seem like they would take the entire world together to complete. And I wouldn't, the first person who solved it was some girl on Twitch. Unfortunately, I don't know her username, but she was just playing on Twitch, and she beat the final puzzle, which you're going to see is a amazing feat. And then everybody spent the next weeks trying to figure out how she solved the puzzle. So it was kind of reverse engineering and picking the game apart and trying to figure it out. And I shouldn't say I don't want to take any credit for this. The internet got it down to a science that works, but still aren't confident as to why that works. And we're gonna do that towards the end of this. And I'm gonna show you my method that I do, and it works. I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 times, almost 10 out of 10 times. It probably won't work this time, just to make me look like a fool. But so here you may have seen this text. It says, I can hear them calling to me from. So we need to finish that sentence. And to do that, we head over here, and we see hello by the phone, which that phone is going to be our ticket out of here when we do get to that part of the game. And we can actually transfer letters by looking at them here and then turning around. And you can kind of stand in place and turn around, but I find it more exciting to do it the way I'm doing it. Actually making some contact with it. And sometimes you'll see Lisa just standing menacingly in different areas, shaking. Sometimes she'll run at you, so you never know. You could just turn this corner and she could be there. I've had that happen multiple times. Like I said, this game keeps you on edge more than anything else. Just the atmosphere of it and the environments and everything, and that's why it was my favorite game of 2014. And I'm going to go ahead and... Some people say it's not a game, So there it is, hell. If you do it too many times, it'll say hello and it'll all erase, so you need to be careful. But I take offense to people that say that it's not a game because it's a teaser. If they took the Silent Hill part off of this and just rolled credits after the end of this game, nobody would say anything different. Everybody would be like, wow, that was amazing. But the fact that it says Silent Hill playable teaser makes people say it's not a game, which is kind of silly. Hallway's getting real dark now. Alright, so this is the first time where the environment kind of changes. So this hallway is now an endless hallway that you run really fast down, and it really throws you off the first time it happens. So this is where I got really stuck when I was first playing. For my first time, when I didn't know what was going on with this game. And what you need to do is notice this peephole. Well, that's that peephole that we saw in the bathroom earlier. So let's take a look on through. Peepholes are always scary in video games, that's for sure. So I never really finished my Japanese developer tangent. I'm kind of sorry. So anyway, the Japanese developers did 1, 2, 3, 4. And after that, people got really mad. They felt like Silent Hill was falling off, and it is true. But I personally love Shattered Memories, as I talk about my Silent Hill playthrough. But they aren't as good, and it's nice to have what seemed to be the best Silent Hill since the golden ages of Silent Hill. But it's not to be. No turning back now. And there's a little bonus if you go in here.
You got fired, so you drowned your sorrows in booze. She had to get a part-time job working a grocery store cash
And he
register.
says something that I feel like is a
Only
huge
reason
clue
she could earn a wage at all
to the final
was
puzzle.
manager
I'm not
liked
sure
how
if it
she
really
looked
is,
in a
but
skirt. You remember, right?
this. Exactly 10 months back. There is an exactly 10 that you need to do later in the game. And you'll notice that you can't see your face in this mirror. It's like very, very difficult. And it is revealed at the end of this that you are playing as Norman Reedus. And that's the reason that they block that out. And I think that was a very clever way of doing it. Because obviously they released this game as an indie title with a made-up studio. And they fooled a lot of people. For quite a few days, people didn't know that this was actually created in the Fox engine under Kojima. So keep on trucking. And now we're back to regular physics. The clock's at midnight, which is another important clue. So basically, if you were reading those pieces of fragmented papers that were scattered throughout the house, they said clues to solving the final puzzle. They're definitely clues to solving the final puzzle. They're things like, I shivered, the phone rang, things like that. Just different, almost like pieces, and or almost like a list, and you kind of had to put them in the right order and solve it. But even that's convoluted and silly, and you're going to see that in a minute. So basically what happens now is the game starts freaking out, and they make it seem like it crashed, and you can get a different crash screen. So there's multiple crash screens in this game, which you would never know if this was your first time playing it, and you need the clues off the crash screen to solve it. The biggest one being there's a sentence that says something along the lines of "call for me, Jay," or "call me, Jay," or something like that, and that's actually a huge necessary part of beating this. So you need a microphone to be able to beat this game, but you also need the audio. So I'm in between a rock and a hard place. So I didn't even think about this. I'm gonna have to put on my headphones and talk to this game for 10 seconds here. So let me go grab that. Okay. So I'm going to be plugging in my headphones in a minute here. I'm going to loop through first. And basically, to solve this puzzle, you need to take exactly 10 steps and hear a baby laugh. Yeah, I know, that's strange, right? Well, you also need to wait for midnight before that happens, which you'll see it's right before midnight, which I'm going to loop first. I always loop. I don't know if it's correct, but that's what I do. Then you need to wait for this haunting noise to die down. Then while it's dying, you need to say Jareth or J. Jareth always worked for me, so that's what I use, into the microphone. Then the controller will start vibrating. You don't touch anything. The baby will laugh for the third time. So 1 for the 10 steps, 1 for the Jareth, 1 for not doing anything. The phone will ring, and then it'll trigger the end of the game when you leave. So I'm going to plug in my headphone now so I can hear when to do these particular actions. So I'm sorry, I can't split the audio. So I'm waiting for a bell to ring to tell me that it is midnight. And I personally don't touch anything. I know there's a million strategies for this. Mine works 9 out of 10 times, so I stick to it. I'm still waiting for it to hit midnight. Oh, I'm a stupid. There we go. I don't know if you can hear the bells ringing. Probably not. So the bells are ringing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I already got 2 of the laughs. If my controller starts vibrating, it worked. And it is. And this is the 3rd laugh. So I'm sorry I can't show you that. That's just a technicality. But I'm not touching the controller, and the baby will laugh a 3rd time. And then the phone will ring. And now we just look at the phone to answer it.
You've been chosen.
And we head out the door. And that's the whole demo. But how are you supposed to solve that final puzzle, assuming that's even the correct way to do it? I mean, it works for me, like I said, almost every time, but what a crazy puzzle. So then you're treated to a cutscene. And now put your mind in the mind of when this came out last year. Everybody thought this was an indie title, and somebody thought that they beat it, and this is what they saw. This free little indie title.
Every day he'd eat the same kind of food, dress the same, sit in front of the same kind of games. Yeah, he was just that kind of guy. But then one day he goes and kills us all. He couldn't even be original about the way he did it. I'm not complaining.
And I love just the psychological horror that could have been. Oh, it's so unfortunate.
But guess what? I will be coming back, and I'm bringing my new toys with me.
So we get outside, and this is where the big reveals come in, the 1, 2, 3 punch. And I can't imagine if I was the first person to solve this how fangirly I would have freaked out. And she just happened to be streaming it too, which was awesome because it recorded in her archives. So obviously Kojima and and people are like, whoa, what's going on? Kojima? I thought this was some made-up studio. And Kojima quoted, he said that the hardest part of making this was making it look bad. He was like, I used the Fox engine, and it's so hard to make games look bad with it that we had to, you know, really take time to make it look like it was a low-budget game, which is kind of funny. So there you see Norman Reedus. Big name. And then The Fog, which is a huge staple of Silent Hill. The music kicks in. And then the big reveal. It was Silent Hill. And then Silent Hills is what this would have been called. Which fits with Ground Zeroes. They apparently like making things plural. I don't really know why, but whatever. Yeah, and you find out it was a playable teaser to the game, made by Kojima and Fox. So you also see here that it says right after this one, game is a teaser and has no direct relation to the main title. So all those things, none of them, all the story stuff I thought of, none of them could have possibly even mattered for this game or been in this game. But and the final product would have been third person. You don't pay for Norman Reedus and then not have the game third person like all of the other Silent Hills. But they were talking about possibly making it first and third person, similar to how the fourth game was, where it had first person sections in tight quarters, but the game was a third person game. And the possibilities that go through your mind are endless with what this could have been. And it's incredibly unfortunate that that we didn't get the finished product, and we're not going to get the finished product. But if you have this game on your PlayStation, I recommend you do not delete it. You cannot download this game anymore on the PlayStation Store. It's PlayStation exclusive. You cannot download the you can't download it. If you own the game and you delete it, you cannot re-download it from your licenses. Like, the game is gone. This is the only trace of the game you have anymore. So if you have it, do not delete it. And it's unfortunate because I actually have another hard drive for my PS4. I have a 2 terabyte, and I won't swap my hard drives because I'm scared I'm going to lose the game. I've lost data through transferring through hard drives and everything, and I just don't trust myself to do it. And if I put in a new hard drive, I kind of lose this game forever, and I don't want to lose my favorite game of 2014. So anyway, that's PT. I hope you guys really enjoyed this tour and this kind of look at this in-depth analysis of the game. I know I could have went a little crazy and really gone down the deep end with it, but I kind of did it like a tour guide the best I could. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know any other spooky, scary games you guys would like me to play. I do enjoy them. As I've said before, they're some of my favorite genres of games. So if there's anything scary that you guys would like me to play, let me know in the comments down below. As always, like, share, and subscribe. I'm Kevin McManus, and I'll speak with you next time.